Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're going to go over some Big Brother happenings that have been going on the last few days, and just wanted to let everyone know that there will be some spoilers here tonight in this video. Stay tuned for the whole video, and towards the end we're going to talk about some hot off the presses feed news that just happened on Saturday evening. First thing I want to talk about is Janelle and Kaysar. I never thought I'd consider them the underdogs of a season, but it seems like it's kind of going that way this season. And for me, they became my favorites because I always kind of root for the underdogs, and they definitely have become that, like I said. So for a while they were trying to get like an alliance going to save Nicole A, and trying to get like Ian and Devon and Bailey in like an alliance to save Nicole A, get the votes. But of course we all know that wound up not happening. And Memphis won the veto and then kept the noms the same, so it wound up being Nicole A and David when it came to eviction night. And Nicole A started to not trust Janelle, even though she really was campaigning for her. So there was just all sorts of drama as they were campaigning for Nicole, and she didn't even believe them. So started to feel really bad for them, that they were actually on the up and up, and people just had a tendency not to believe Janelle. Everyone was against her, so they were convincing Nicole A to not believe her. So of course, then we came down to the speeches for the nomination for David and Nicole A, their nomination speeches. And David, of course, said, "I'm grateful to be here," pun intended, of course, referring to the Power of Alliance from season 21 that was against him that season. Well, not really against him because he didn't stay that long for them to be against him, but anyway, the alliance of his season. And then Nicole's speech, she kind of ticked Memphis off. You can see on his face he wasn't too happy with her speech. Which I didn't really understand, because if it did come down to a tiebreaker, which of course we saw it didn't, but if it did come down to a tiebreaker, he would have been the deciding vote, so I wasn't really sure why she did that. So only two people voted for Nicole to stay, and that was Enzo and Kevin. And then, of course, Julie made Nicole feel really bad that she was against Janelle, and she said that she, really felt bad about it, that she didn't trust Janelle. So of course that didn't work out well for her, and Nicole was the second person evicted. So first two players to go, both girls. And then also fun fact is that they had both won America's Favorite House Guest when they were on their season. So Keisha and Nicole A were both America's Favorite House Guests. So that's interesting that they were the first two to go. And then I'm just kind of watching the feeds on Thursday night after the live eviction. Ian, Danny, Nicole F, and Cody were forming the 4 Prime, which Ian came up with that name, and then he was also maybe trying to get Tyler in on that, but I think Cody or somebody mentioned that it might look too obvious since Tyler was the HOH this week. So of course we had to mention also on the CBS show that aired on Thursday night, Tyler was the new HOH. So there's been some controversy about Tyler winning over Janelle because it was so close. On Twitter, of course, everyone loves Janelle and she's the queen. On Twitter, she has a huge fan base, like I said, and they're saying that Janelle really won the HOH and she was robbed, that Tyler buzzed in too fast. His beer mug was still moving, even though I don't know if that was even part of the rules, or that he rang in when his beer mug was on the lower number, so really Janelle won. So it's just all been a buzz about, the internet's all been a buzz about that Janelle really won HOH instead of Tyler. But of course it stands that Tyler is the HOH as far as I know, that Big Brother hasn't changed anything, and I think it was just wishful thinking on Janelle's fans' part. And one thing that Janelle did say is that she's doesn't like Nicole F for being mean to Rachel Riley, like when they were on The Amazing Race, so that just was an interesting side note. More news from the live feeds is that, of course, Kaysar and Janelle are nominated. They were nominated by Tyler, and then so we kind of all expected that. The whole house, it seems like it's like big lines of the whole house against Janelle and Kaysar. So it'll be interesting to see which one of them they choose to go first. Okay, and then just hot off the presses for the live feeds are that Cody actually just won the veto on Saturday evening. So Janelle, it looks like Janelle and Kaysar will be staying on the block unless there's some other crazy twist that Big Brother comes up with to save one of them. So basically, in summary, like I said, it's the entire house against Janelle and Kaysar. And it should get interesting. I think sounds like obviously they're probably leaning towards getting Janelle out first, but she's a bigger target, so you never know at the end with how the vote's going to go. But right now it's looking like Janelle's probably going to go before Kaysar, and so it'll be a little interesting once they're out, or at least one of them's out, to see if the other ones start picking each other up a little bit more. And I think Memphis has to watch out a little bit, because he's probably going to be one of the first to go Seems like a lot of people aren't really trusting him since he's kind of been a little shady. So I think he might be one of the first to go from those like original alliances. But anyway, the alliances are all confusing. Let me know what you think about the alliances. It's so hard to keep track of all of them. I think they've kind of switched a little bit, and like I said, it almost seems like it's just the whole house right now against Kaysar and Janelle. So maybe that once one of them's out, things will solidify a little bit more with different alliances. But anyway, if you enjoyed my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more Big Brother All-Stars videos. And thank you, and we'll see you again soon.